Yes, my dear friends, welcome back to the channel GH247 News. Ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are around the globe, on the continent of Africa, in Europe, in America, Canada, Australia, or right here in Southeast Asia, ladies and gentlemen, today I am presenting to you a special episode, Ketsi KSM, Kweku Sintim Imisa, in Ghana. Ladies and gentlemen, the interview of the decade. Yes, the interview of the decade that KSM had with Her Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana. Have you heard it? If you have not yet heard that interview with the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, then ladies and gentlemen, join me on this episode. Join me on this journey. The next 1 hour, I'll be taking you on a long journey. The next 1 hour, I'll break down every word that Her Excellency Professor Jane Nana Opoku Ajima has spoken or has said in that interview last week. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, Ghana right now as we speak have had the first female vice president. The first female vice president, ladies and gentlemen. And in that interview, she said a lot of things. In this interview, she said a lot of things. Are we ready to have the first female president in Ghana? Let me not waste your time at all. Are you ready as a Ghanaian to have the first female president? First female president. First female president. Nana Opoku Ajiman, Her Excellency. I am ever ready to support the bid throughout. Just listen to this interview and I will break it down. Go. Let's go.
How to focus, begin at the base.
Begin at the base.
Yeah, start at the bottom of the pyramid.
Yeah.
Don't start at the top.
And that's where the parenting comes in. Right from there.
Yeah, all of us.
Just relax. Take your time. This is just an intro.
I don't think it's such an appropriate question to ask. But I'm going to ask anyway. Because those who are watching me are guessing
Oh.
So let me ask the question. Would you consider running for president?
I knew that question. The way you were giving all kinds of... Listen, that's my response. We worked very, very hard at our manifesto. It took a number of years. Our methodology was demanding. And our presidential candidate then took the lead. He had a speak out tour, if you remember.
Yeah.
Poor man, going around the country, engaging people. We followed when we did the manifesto.
This is just the intro. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. We are still in the intro.
People volunteered. And I want to use this medium to thank them. People flew into Accra. From targets, people drove. Just coming to share ideas on how we could reset our country. We didn't have money.
The question was about his candidature, whether she is ready to become the next candidate to represent the National Democratic Congress, to take over the baton from His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, to become the next president of the Republic of Ghana. That was the question. Now listen carefully to all that she's saying. Just listen.
Listen, it was a very, very good experience, but we all felt energized. We had a draft of a manifesto. We stepped out to campaign, went everywhere. The people of Ghana were merciful. They voted for us for a reason. They voted massively, and we remain grateful. They didn't vote for us today to be talking about going or not going. They said we should come and solve the problems. We have an agenda. What we inherited was a very, very tough situation. We have work to do. Whether we are going or coming depends on the work we are doing. It depends on the support we are giving our president, who is leading the charge. And it depends on the quality of support we are giving. And if you're already going left and right and center and back, and it's not even time, I think it's a betrayal of the cause of the people.
It's not yet time. And if we are going left and back, talking about the next candidate to represent the National Democratic Congress that will take over from His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, we are doing a disservice to the people. She did not say she's not interested. As of now, at least let's listen. Let's continue listening.
And I don't think it is right.
And I don't think it is right to say I'm going to be standing for election as a president of Ghana or not. I don't think it is right to make any indication right now. Let's go on.
So please help us to fulfill the dreams of this beautiful country that we know can do much better even than it is doing now. Let us focus on getting the job done. And I think that speaking for myself, that is what I want to do.
Keep the focus,
Let's
build the nation,
thank you.
deliver results.
Thank you very much.
Show some love, man. Wow. That is so fantastic. That is so fantastic. Unfortunately, we have just a minute. And so I'm not going to be throwing more questions because I could be here all day. But in the short time that we have left, this is, where is the camera?
I'm sorry for the video quality. I think we should have done better. I'm very sorry for the video quality. You know, the head is being cut off. I'm very sorry. I tried to zoom it out so that you can see the picture boldly and clearly. But look, I'm very sorry for that. Let's go on. A lot to say, a lot. The next 1 hour, I tell you, relax yourself and enjoy the conversation.
So, Excellency, please look directly into this. Tell the people of Ghana what you want them to hear or know, whatever. Please, that's your camera.
First, I want to thank the people of Ghana. As I said in my submission, they've been very kind, they've been very merciful, they've been very accommodating. We don't take your dreams for granted. We want to continue to work with you. We want you to continue to work with us, direct us. We will never position ourselves as the people who know it all. We don't. We are still in the process of learning, and whatever we achieve should be achieved on everybody's back. You are all part of it, and I want to thank you, and thank you again.
Well, folks, unfortunately, so Vice President, they only time of they have so many other things, but before we go, Madam, Your Excellency, let me say I'm very, very, very thankful for the honor you've given me just to be able to grant you this interview. Not only that, even deciding that you will come to my studio, I feel blessed and I am humbled. So thank you very much for that. I want you all guys to join me to thank her for that.
Entertainment laureate and still the youngest old man in Ghana. Put your hands together.
Well, dear friends, now let's get started. It is now we are going into the dito. What you've seen earlier on is just the intro. Yes, it's just the intro. Are you ready? Let's get started with the main interview. Ladies and gentlemen.
When I had to introduce my guest, and I can actually say my guest needs no introduction. Oh yes. And I'm so proud, I'm so honored I'm so pleased to be able to introduce a guest who needs no introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together and welcome our own Vice President, Her Excellency, Professor Nana Jane Opoku Ajiman. She's in the house. Your Excellency, welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much.
It's good to have you here.
Oh, it's a joy to be here.
Okay. Well, folks, I have to tell you a quick story before I do this interview. Normally, you know that I do talk shows and I interview a lot. And normally when there are people that I really want...
For those of you who don't know, this man you are seeing on the screen is a legendary radio presenter, legendary TV presenter. Back in the days, when you talk about KSM, he's a comedian, he's a, newscaster, he's a producer, he's an all-round journalist. He's one of those journalists that we grew up knowing in early, let me say, late 90s that I started to listen to TV. So let's go on.
I give them an option. I said, listen, I want you to be on my show. But don't worry, if you can't come to me, I'll come to you. So you've seen it, folks. We've gone to several offices and several homes. We go to them when they can't come. So we invited the Vice President, and we'll be going up and down this for a long time. So finally, folks, the lady from my office called me and said, the Vice President is ready. So right away, I told her, I said, great, but listen, she's the Vice President. We are happy to come to Jubilee anytime she wants. So she called me later, and she says, well, the Vice President is coming. But guess what? She says she'll come to your studio. I was shocked. Hey, she'll come to my studio. So I reminded the lady, I said, listen, the studio is no longer in Accra. I'm in Aburi. I operate from Cactus Creek. She said, oh, KSM. She said she'll come there. I was shocked. And actually, she did. Show her some love there.
The whole Vice President of Ghana, moving from her office, not even going to her own residence, she decided to honor the man. She traveled all the way to another city outside Accra. She traveled there for this interview by herself, for you to know the gravity, how important this video I'm bringing to you right now is. Just listen to it. Let's go.
The funny thing is this, I've interviewed her before, but the first time she came as a running mate. Of course, as a running mate, so she came to me. And there's one thing I told her during the interview. I asked her, I said, I want you to promise that if you ever become a Vice President, I should be the first to interview you. And she actually said, no, that's cool. But there's something else I said. I said that if she'll give me that interview as the Vice President, right after I finished that interview, I've retired. Mr. Mepema retired. And all I'm saying, if you should be the Vice President, I want your first appearance on this show.
Now,
when I was doing the work for World Learning,
that was the first interview she had with KSM before the election. And KSM promised that if she becomes the Vice President, and God willing, if she becomes the Vice President, and President Mahama becomes the President of Ghana, the last interview that he would do and retire will be to interview her. So it is up to KSM now to fulfill his promise by retiring. That was why they were laughing. Ladies and gentlemen, now let's move on to the main interview of the day. We still have about 50 minutes to go. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen.
Twice a year, each semester. And I remember once we went for a board meeting at DC, and they asked me, so what really is your objective doing this? And I said, oh, if the students can come to the understanding that people are just people, I'll be very happy. That is it. So you see, you have to go to the fundamental issue. We are all ordinary human beings.
Wow.
So you start from there.
Wow. Okay. People are always people, I agree. So you enter another realm of politics where people are people, but people are NDC, people are MPP, people are CPP, whatever.
You see, but the common denominator in what you have said is people.
What are NDC?
You see. So you agree with me?
I agree. How do you react to the people who actually do not conform to your views and your system and dare to make
you just want to say people want to be nasty?
Yes, thank you. Just a lot for the word. Thank you for the word. People can be very nasty.
Oh, very, very unpleasant.
Very, very unpleasant.
You know, you see, the thing is this. You are never ever going to get 100% of the people to appreciate what you do.
Okay.
It's not going to happen. If you can get 70%, you are very lucky. So you find a way to hold on to the 70%.
The 70. Knowing full well that 30.
Thank you. But at the same time, no. But at the same time, you don't let go the 30 people.
Okay.
Maybe if you have the patience to listen to them, why they are not coming along, and if you are able to give them the right information to consider or reconsider why they are not coming along, maybe with time, the 30% will get to 28% or 25%. At the same time, you hold on to your so they also don't. So they also don't reduce. So you play that, knowing very well that maybe when you get down to about 10 or so percent, so then there's nothing we can do. They decided that hey,
you have to understand people that we are there.
But even that doesn't mean that you should abandon them.
You shouldn't abandon them.
And it doesn't mean that if they are being unpleasant to you, you should be unpleasant back to them. It's a waste of your energies. You don't do that. You just try to leave them alone. Hopefully, they will come along.
Okay. Okay. And if they don't come along, you decided that there's a 70%.
Oh, if you have 80%, 90%, you thank God.
Okay. What do you think you are at now?
I don't know.
You don't have. Well, the polls suggest that our boss is.
Yes.
The favorability rating is very high.
Oh yes, our boss is flying, and that's what we want to see. And that's what we want to see. You see, it's about supporting him. When the ratings are good for him, it reflects on all of us. You see. So I think that's where our focus should be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Talking about where your focus should be, I know that it's also human nature. I'm glad the way you explained how human nature will always be human nature. So here you are in a situation with your boss, the president, and he has his beliefs and certain things. Are there any locations where you...
You see,
for Cape Coast University, and now...
Let me say this before we continue. This is a lady she is an academia. She was a lecturer. She became a vice chancellor of a university. Then she became a minister of education. Then vice president. Ladies and gentlemen, she's brilliant. She's eloquent. She's everything you can think of. And look, don't you think she can become the next president of Ghana? Ladies and gentlemen, this interview, if you are smart enough, you like the video, you share the video, let it go viral, because she deserves every support to stand as the next president of the Republic of Ghana. Let's move on.
Politics, where we know it to be brutal and hard and everything, and they've come from academia. You know, some time ago, we used to tease people coming from academia that they were bouclon, which simply meant that all they knew was book, not the practical theory.
All as names.
The technical sense, yeah.
So here you are, you have come from the academia and you're in politics, where everything is hot, action, lever theory.
So, coming from that background, what was it that prepared you
to being a politician?
Okay, you've asked many questions. One of them is, how was I prepared? I don't think anyone can be adequately prepared for many of these positions. At the university, we work, we are very, very structured. Even then, you see, the fundamental issue is that it's a people situation. Whether on the campus or out of it, it's about people. Thank you. They may be in different categories, they may have different objectives, but it's all about people. Okay? So I was not prepared, as in maybe whilst I was vice chancellor, I was being prepared to become minister. No, far from it. It just happened that way. And so, as I told you earlier on, you just once you accept that responsibility, you just put your best foot forward and you do the best you can. So yes, of course, the atmosphere on campus is very different. Okay? But it's not too different from the atmosphere out of the campus, because there are structures in both places. At the university, yes, you have, even when you have students, they are not a monolithic group called students. You have those who just came from secondary school, who are constantly losing their way into which lecture theatre did I come in last week? Just part of the process. And you also have, let's say, final year students, you have master's students, you have PhD students. When you talk about your colleagues, you have those who taught you. You have those you taught, and the workers, you have them from the registry right down to casual workers. But they say, finally, you have to look at all of these as they are all human beings. They all need the same things. They all deserve the same things. So I think that is one of the things that helped me when I moved to the ministry. The one opening the gate, the one who cleans your office when you get there, and the one who, drives your car, they are all ordinary human beings. And your attitude, your work towards them should never lose sight of it. Okay, so yes, you come into this arena, and we have a country that is unfortunately on a path of polarization, which is not very helpful anyway. But I think that if we can all understand that it's all about human life, and yes, so you are in a position of power or in a position of trust, but you are a representative. You didn't put yourself there. Somebody put yourself there. So on behalf of that person, what are you doing?
This is what we call service with humanity. Human-centered, vice president. She's not there because she's the best to be there. That is what she wants us to understand. She's not there because she's more deserving than others, but she is there to serve. Human-centered vice president, Her Excellency, Professor Jane Nana Opoku. Come on, she can be a very good president. Let's move on. Let's go on.
Okay. So for me, that is how I understand politics. It's about using what has been invested in you in the interest of those who gave you that opportunity. Okay. So definitely in any position, whether on the campus or out of the campus, you can never think that, you are the only one who so deserves to be there. No, there's nothing like that.
There is nothing like that. You are not the only one that deserves to be there. You are not the only one. It's just by grace. NPP, are you guys listening? Let's move on.
We are here because we have a manifesto. We did a campaign. The people of Ghana listened to us. They were very merciful to us. We have a strategy. Okay? So, what is there to fundamentally disagree about? To begin with.
The issue is we are building the nation.
This is it. You see, so what is there to disagree? That we don't want development, or we don't want roads, or we don't want hospitals. What is there to so fundamentally disagree that you be in a conflict with your boss?
Okay.
You
Considering
see,
you all have
it should, and that's what it is. Or that's what it should be.
What is there to be in a conflict with your boss? Is it not about development? Is it not the same thing they all want for the people? His Excellency, the President John Dramani Mahama, he is equally human-centered being. Very lovely gentleman. Let's move on. Let's go on.
You see, he'll face more pressures than you would. So you try to be fair as much as you can. And you know that he's not going to do anything away from the agreed objectives. You know him enough, you trust him enough, and he demonstrates that enough. So your job or my job is to support him. Of course, he's not going to ask you to go and jump into this or anything like that. Okay, so far so good.
Oh, wow.
And I'm very, very thankful. I'm very, very thankful that we have such a good working relationship. Yes.
Okay, that's so good to know. So, in terms of having that good working relationship and also being on the same plane in terms of what you're doing, you know, people have asked, and I'm glad you have come from academia to this, is all the people. People have asked, are Ghanaians ready and prepared for a reset? And so far, it looks quite encouraging. But from your view, Ghana, are we ready that are we ready to reset?
Pre-election is a call for reset. Otherwise, what do we do it?
So elections, let's come to
No,
continue.
Yeah, so that is why we are not moving as quickly as ever.
Is Ghanaians ready for reset? And she says it's encouraging. It is indeed. Let's continue.
Everybody wants. What have we been complaining about? So when you are able to isolate those issues that we think are drawing us back, then you have to reset something. Something has to change. We just had the floods, and we know that this is not the first time. Maybe in this magnitude, yes, but generally,
yeah.
So we go around, we do the usual discussions, and then the floods recede, and then we are back, and then we wait
For the next.
So it gets to a point people say, okay, let's not wait. Let's do what we can to ensure that if nature reacts this way, at least we would have been seen to have played a role as people. You see? So yes, if we know that our country can do much better than it has been doing, we know that we can take much better care of our resources than we have done in the past. We were not called the Gold Coast for nothing.
Yeah.
So if your resources have built other people's communities and they have not built yours, you need just that item. You need to ask yourself, what do I need to reset in this area? What has been going wrong?
The reset agenda.
So yes, the question you ask is very interesting in the sense that people may not be ready. Change is not that easy. Sometimes we get used to routine. And asking us to do something, it just requires so much effort and, so much discomfort, maybe that's the word. And so it's easier just to go on doing what you are doing and running your commentary than really taking the step to overturn things. But we also know that when we are able to take that step, it helps us better. So then again, you are not going to get everybody to come around. No. Some will learn when they see results. And then they are convinced that, this is okay. Some will look at the process and, but I should have done this and this and that.
Some will learn
persuasion
when the process is on course. Others, they will still decide not to follow up. It is about individual behavior. The reset agenda is what she's talking about. Let's continue.
Yeah. And I'm talking about persuasion, not propaganda. Doesn't. And like persuasion takes easily. Yeah. Yeah. And persuasion requires more effort in convincing people to come to a certain position because they have also thought about it. They've considered it, and they've come to the conclusion that this is the way to go. It's a process, and you must have the patience and the strategy to realize that kind of conclusion.
Okay. Speaking of what you are talking about, we are now practicing the multi-party democracy where the so-called, for lack of a better word, opposition, they are actually bent on trying to point out where you're going wrong. Speaking of what you're saying, at what point can you have the right to be dismissive of pressure from the opposition, or do you always contain what they're saying and be tolerant? Do you have the right to be dismissive at some point and say, with the mark, we know this, let's move on? How do you do that balance?
You see, we started this conversation by saying that it's about people. We are not all going to think the same way. We are not all going to have the same intention. So intention is very important. Why are you doing this? Okay? Are you doing this just to be provocative? Are you doing this to make a point that is very important?
She's talking about the behavior of people like Afenyo Makin. Are they doing it to be provocative, or they are doing it because it is necessary, it is important, it is legitimate, it's the right thing? That is what she's talking about. The reset agenda. Talking about the opposition in Ghana. Look, Madam President, let me begin to address you as Madam President. Let's go.
If so, what method are you using? And you see, one of the things we all need to be mindful of is that things are slowly but surely evolving.
Things are evolving.
Even with all of us. You see, once upon a time, maybe I was living in a small town and my uncle was living in a big town, and once in a while he'll come and tell us what's going on. That was fine, and that required a certain type of strategy of communication. Today, before uncle gets to the village, nephew knows already. So when I'm talking about the evolution, that's what I mean. Okay. So if you use the same method as in once upon a time, you might not be as successful. Okay. Otherwise, you'll find out that the electorate has gone ahead of you. So that's how I'll say to that. Okay. So yes, you may have your position, you may have your reasons, the intention, but you must be constantly aware that the people
how many times did she repeat that word? The people. How many times did she repeat that word? The people. she's always talking about the people. The reason why she is where she is right now is because of the people. And she kept repeating that word. The people. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are a politician, who are you there for? Are you representing the people, the interest of the people, or you are there representing your own interest and the interest of your family alone? She kept repeating the same word. The people. Whose interest are you representing as a politician? Whose interest? Your own stomach, your wife and your kids' stomach, or you are there to represent the people of Ghana? The people, ladies and gentlemen, yes. She's not mincing words at all. She's not.
Times that you think you're doing the right thing for the people, and you actually are anticipating that they are happy you're doing it, but they may not like it, don't even understand it. So this brings me to this whole thing of resetting. How difficult it is, because you want to reset and the people think that what you're doing is not anything in their interest. And whenever it happens, you know what we say in Ghana, it will get to election, you will see. We will use our kukurumuti to throw you. So, and then a situation like this, how do you deal with it? You know you're doing the right thing. The people say, we don't like this and we are going to use kukurumuti. How do you handle a situation like that?
I think that when they do that, that should be something you should take very, very positively.
Positive.
Oh, yes. Because you see, they are telling you that there's a gap. There's something they don't quite get. And instead of just dismissing them, you can win them just by encouraging dialogue. Why are you saying that Kokromoti or in himself or? So there's something you are unhappy about. What is it? So you see, dialogue is very, very important. Listening is very, very important. Respecting is very, very important. If you just say, oh, Kokromoti or Opa, I mean, then you've also lost it. You yourself, you've lost it. So you don't have enough to go and convince anyone to get it. You see? So yes, as I said, change is not easy. We all sometimes get very comfortable in our little beehives. But maybe when you step out, you may see something else.
Yeah.
And as I said, the person may be waiting for the opportunity to experience something. You see, and also where people have, or where their trust has been abused for so long, they get cynical. And it becomes very, very difficult. But if you are determined enough and you are willing to work with them and respect their views enough, I think you will start making some progress.
Okay, you've been in power now for over a year now. Is there anything you have realized that goes beyond what you expected? Maybe you come across a situation and said, wow, this situation is tough. I expected this, but nothing beyond this. This one, I will say that this has come as a tough situation.
Well, not beyond, but we expected, in the sense that maybe we've had a system where you spend money, excuse my language, by heart. You don't do that. Okay? If you decide that, listen, where we are at, we are not in an easy place. You can negotiate your debts. There are some debts you can't negotiate, you must pay. So some money comes, and the expectation would have been to throw it around, which would have been nice. But at what expense are you doing that? If it's at the expense of health, aid, and get somebody tell me, listen, your sugar level, you must watch it. Does it really matter? And these are all parts of the reset. to realize that yes, I was the one who did this and so on, so I deserve this. We agree, but we are not there yet. We are not there yet. That becomes tough to manage. So as I said, once people begin to see how you are expending their resources, it becomes relatively easy, not completely easy, but to a notch easier. Because that's why I live and our roads are terrible and I don't have a job and I don't have an appointment, but my roads are being fixed. It doesn't exactly make me very, very happy, but at least it's a little easier. Do you get it? Uh-huh.
So you're talking about delivering results. That's what people want.
This is it. It's about results, and about results that everybody can see. If my child was in the secondary school, or I was supporting somebody in the secondary school, and every other weekend I had to take Gary and Shito and everything, and now I don't have to do that anymore. Yes, you haven't gotten your appointment, we know, we apologize. We wish you have it, but maybe that is also working. Do you get?
You see, when you have leaders like this in charge, Bible says that when a righteous man is in power, the people rejoices. When a righteous man is in power, the people rejoices. It's not just a wonder that Ghanaians seems to be breathing a little bit of fresh air.
Eyes on the goal and
the economy seems to be a bit stable, and it looks like people are happy to call themselves, confident to show Ghana flag, to wear the Ghana jersey, to celebrate that just because they are Ghana. It's not coincidence. Something positive is happening. Even in the realms of the spirit, something positive is happening. This is our vice president speaking, the Ghanaian vice president. And for me, she is the next president in the making.
That we are doing the right things for all of us. All the people, including myself.
Including those who do not even agree with you.
Oh, well.
I like the point. I like the part you mentioned about propaganda is gone. It's not persuasion. Because I see a lot of that in our politics on these parts. It's always propaganda, you know. But sooner than later, the truth will come out, and then people realize that, after all, it was all propaganda. But when persuasion fails, what's the next step for you?
No, first you need to find out why has it failed. You must do evaluation. You must do introspection. Why has this failed? Is it my method? Was it my results? You know, I fixed the road in the community. Maybe this person didn't see. Maybe he's one of the 10% people who don't want to see.
Of all the problems, and there are tons of it in Ghana, you know, and I know our boss, I won't say your boss, I know our boss is really bent on resetting and fixing as much as can be fixed. What would you identify as maybe 2 or 3 of the key areas that are a must to be tackled?
Yeah, you must start with the things that affect everyone, like the economy.
The economy.
Like security. These are fundamental. We must all feel safe. We must all get on with our lives. We must all get proper training to be able to contribute to that same economy in whatever way we can. So these remain, and our boss is really, really working so hard. So hard.
That is the boss. Our boss, His
that we are
Excellency.
removing these obstacles from our paths. Okay, so yes, and in all of this, you must also be mindful that the people we are talking about belong to different groups. Even when you say women, there's something you have said, and I think this is at the risk of repeating myself. There's something you have said, and there's something you have not said.
What haven't I said?
There's a woman, because we are all women, but another person may own something else. They are also women. So in all of this, you should be very mindful that you are not just grouping people and thinking that, no. You must look at the base and bring people up, whilst not abandoning those at the top.
Okay.
Look at a way to bring people up, whilst not abandoning those at the top. Get it clearly. This is leadership. And it is a skill that is not taught in the classroom. It's natural. That is why, for me, I see her as the next president. NDC, you see, my great Akatamanso party, please, we already have our next president. We already have. I wouldn't like to waste my energy campaigning for someone else that we are yet to see the true identity, the true character. She's already an already made product. She is well deserving to become the next president of Ghana. Let's move on.
So talking about women, we said we'll do the Women's Development Bank. We are dead serious about it.
When are we to expect it?
Let me tell you a little bit before I get to that question. I'm hoping that before this year ends, we'd have launched it. But you see, before then, you go to any bank in this country, and there's a women's desk. Why does that exist? Why do you have a women's desk? The rest, where do they go? And who are the rest? I'm not asking you to answer.
I was about to.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And even when you go to the women's desk, which women normally go there? Does it include this lady who went to get somebody's donuts to hawk? Does she go to this bank? Where will this woman get her capital? How about her? She's also a woman. So when we are talking about Women's Development Bank, that's what we mean. To be able to reach these women. Okay, the bank manager has his own KPIs and, he must bring collateral and a whole lot of it. That's his job. We are not going to ask him to ignore the instructions given and to lose his job. But we are talking about the majority of women and men too. But let's focus on the women for the purposes of the discussion. And they are in the tiny, they call them micro something. No, they are beyond the micro. So what should they do?
To what extent will you apportion the blame to our socialization? Because, for example, when a man is busy going up and down, it's accepted, or a man.
My friend, don't tell me that we are not busy.
Yeah, that's the point I'm making. When a woman is doing the same thing, she's too low.
I think that
is it that our socialization? What accounts for that?
I think a lot is not taking care of our culture. I'm not blaming the culture. I've never done so. If you study our culture well, which we don't, you don't study our culture. And I think that is part of our being. Our culture, very broadly speaking, has very little patience, if any, for people who just idle about. Whether men or women, we are on the farms. The women used to have their own courts. So they were in the judiciary. The women in the food processing, the oils and the gari and so on. These are the scientists. What respect do we give them? So what pushed us away from them? It was school and some religion too. All of a sudden, we are hearing statements about, the woman's place is the kitchen. Which kitchen?
The woman must be submissive. And I guess being in the kitchen.
It's in the Bible, isn't it?
It's the Bible, yeah.
So you see where some of our troubles are coming from. Okay. Whereas, even let's take something like fishing, sea fishing. You normally see is the men who go sea fishing. You don't see the women. Why is that the case? Because the saline air on the sea can affect the woman's body in very, very serious ways. I'm looking for the scientific examination of this. So that is why they will stay away. But you see, the moment the canoe gets to the beach, and if you watch, it's very, very interesting. The men will take their nets and leave. How that fish
Gets to the market.
moves from the canoe to the boat, goes home to be smoked or to be salted. How that fish from Elmina gets to Burkina is the work of the women. So you see, there will be gender differentiation rules.
Yeah.
And nobody saw another person's role as inferior. So that sort of thing will come from the binary way of saying things. I'm top or you are down. I'm short or you are young or I'm old. And that sort of thing. That kind of thinking has not helped us. So you see, as I said, we don't. Tell me one profession in which traditionally you don't find women. It's only when you guys took over and went to school that you put us behind.
Yeah.
Whether it's religion, we call them what? Fetish priests. It's graceful to all of us. What's so fetish about it? So whether it's religion, whether it's the law, whether it's food processing, whether it's raising, we were there. So how did we become so invisible? I keep asking myself that, so the people, the Kweninzingas and the Aminas and the Yasantuas and the Mabel Dankwas, what was it? What pushed them up? If today we are complaining, was it the same in their time? Or maybe it was different?
It's a very interesting question. See, even if it was different, it would have been different in terms of, it would have been a worse situation for the woman.
When Yasantua spoke up, what made her? And the people go and condemn her because as a woman, she should have been in the kitchen. And if she was supposed to have been in the kitchen, why do you think she was part of that discussion? Unless that discussion, the space had been turned into a kitchen, which I doubt. So you see, I feel that we have not paid enough attention to our culture. And we are creating all kinds of problems that don't need to exist. Okay. People have their strengths.
Yeah.
And we don't all have the same strengths, and we don't have to. If their council has something like Ebusia Barton. Ebusia Barton is not always a female. Think about it. And think about our language. When we say the oracle, oreba, we never had this he or she business. So even our language was very respectful of the genders.
Now he is going or she's going.
That you say, or it is going. And other languages even have the neuter and a whole lot of it. That's fine. Yeah, but how about ours?
You've been in education before.
I know.
How much blame, let me use the word blame, should they apportion to the pedagogy or the system of education that is ingraining these things in our heads? Is it our education?
You remember the wahala, that I had when I said, let's raise our children in our local languages, even up to P3. You know. So let's move on.
I remember. Yeah.
Yeah. You have to begin.
For those of you that are not aware, when she was the education minister, she suggested that kids should be trained in the local Ghanaian language. If you are from the Volta region, you'll be trained in Ewe, how to speak Ewe, how to speak the Ewe. If you are an Akan, you'll be trained in how to speak the Akan language. At the lower level, from primary school to, primary 1 to primary 3, so that the kids will have that basic knowledge and understanding of their development. And she was misconstrued. That is what she's referring to. Now let's move on.
I'm away.
We still have about 25 minutes to go.
So you should go back to the schools, right? To start there?
From the homes.
From the homes.
Should be the home. Because you see, by the time the child steps off, something has gone into his mind. He's not going to school with an empty brain, no. Okay? So it's us. So I don't think, so every so often we say, oh, we should start from the schools. Why? No, that's not where we should start. I don't think so. We should start from the home. Because see, the child is, as I said, is stepping out of something. And the child is at its most formative years. The brain is forming. And it's forming from home.
So now, let's look at the home. You have parents, you have the man and wife who have all been schooled earlier to think certain things that they are now imparting on their children. So it doesn't even start at the home. It starts, a friend is saying, what's the word? False start. Even at the home, they get their false start. Even before they get to the school, they have the false start. Is there any way education can correct that?
Who was trained and got a certificate. The immediate teachers are the caregivers. They're the parents or the first people who interact with this beautiful bundle of joy. So that is why we need to have all kinds, whether the classroom, the non-classroom, and anything in between. Yeah.
Let's ask this. We've seen religion play quite a significant role in this thinking. What's your solution to it? Should those who are teaching it be reset to understand that certain things that they are quoting and throwing at us, why they say you're submissive? Because it's in the Bible or in the Quran or whatever.
Listen, if it's, you have to ask yourself, as a country, what do you want? That's a fundamental question. Where are you now? And where do you think you should get to in 30? You need long-term planning. So short thing is not helping us. Long-term planning. So let us envision Ghana in 30 years. Okay? Let's all agree that wherever we are, it's fine, but we can do better. And that in 30 years we should get to the good.
Okay.
So what do we do now?
Now.
What steps? Okay, envisioning 30 years. Let's break it down. Let's every 5 years or every 10 years or 6 years, whatever. Okay. So what steps should we put in place now to ensure that in 5 years we are at this place? And that is why you need the proper.
You see, this interview is not just an ordinary interview. This is not an interview of a politician speaking to a journalist. This is an intellectual interview. If you follow her carefully, you know, like I said to you guys earlier on, she is an intellectual. Her background as a lecturer for university to become the vice chancellor of the university, become education minister, now the vice president. And I am saying it right here on this channel that she is my president in the making. Oh yes, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. We have to pass the baton to her. And I'm calling on my own people. NDC, let us not forget, this is the lady that Ghana is to present for the next generation. that will help to transform the nation for the next generation. Let us not make a mistake. As people, we've gotten a gem in our hand. She's a lady, but I'm fully behind her to become the next president of the Republic of Ghana. Is Ghana ready? Yes, I think we are ready for the first female president. Now, we have a first female vice president. The next is for her to become the first female president of Ghana. Let's go on. We have about 20 minutes more to go.
In an evaluation. So you need to break down the 6 years into parts. Come down
So you can
yes.
evaluate it
Yes.
part by part.
So in, let's say, year 1, 12 months. Let's break it, let's say every 6 months. Okay? So for the first 6 months, where should we be? And what do you need to put in place for the realization of the 6 months objective? You know, it's like you are going on a journey. You aim, let's say you are aiming for 30 years, but the 6 months is the objective. Okay? So you break down the objective into steps.
Measurable
So
steps.
yes, so by the second or third week or the third month in the first 6 months, you ought to be hey, where are we at? Are we going to make it? Are we slow? Are we fast? And so on and so forth. And you keep faith with the people. This is not something you do on your desk and feel that you are so right, everybody is wrong. That's not going to work.
Where are we at, in your own estimation? Where should we be now? Are we okay because of the time so far, or
People we appointed, the people who supported us, the people who've been patient with us, giving us advice and so on. Everybody has been part of it. We are making some progress. We never thought that within a year, you know, the problems in the secondary schools would have abated, roads to be constructed. We are not borrowing, as Ghanaians say, by heart. We are even paying the bonds to people, not all of them, but we are trying. And again, I plead for everybody's patience, you know, that we are removing these thorny issues. You know, so we are very happy about that. We are never going to say that, oh, we've done it all, we haven't. No, or we are where we think we ought to be. But with the same prudent expenditure patterns, we'll be making more progress maybe than we've done now. Okay, and as I said, if we continue using resources in the interest of everybody, all the people, you know, providing satisfying the needs, rather, not providing, satisfying needs, I think that we'll be doing a better job than we have even started. Okay, if for example, you live in the tropics, there's hardly anything you need that doesn't grow here. Hardly. But you decide that you must eat food somebody else who has worse weather than you do. Then there's something wrong.
basically?
And it should not continue.
Yeah.
You know, I'll be the last person to say that, oh, there should be a law that says you shouldn't eat item V. But all of us should not support your taste. You want to eat that, you go and pay for it. For whatever the reason. But the rest of us want to eat the ordinary food. You should not be subsidizing your taste. You know, whether it is plants or what don't we have here?
Let's use rice, for example.
Thank you. You see, and remember in our previous time, we encouraged the local production of rice to the extent Even when you were driving in the street, you could see the banners, Eat Ghana rice, small tables, people had advertised brown rice and white rice and so on. So what happened?
So you see, them all because we wanted
so we should never get to the position where, as a country, we take one step forward and 25 behind.
Back.
Then we are not too serious. We have enough people who can grow enough rice in this country. We know that.
So what has stopped us from doing it?
I remember those days I took a trip to Liberia from the university. We were helping them to re-establish the education system because after the war, so many things had gone wrong. And I remember going to the restaurant or the hotel I stayed in, and they brought the rice. The rest was so inside this rice. And they said, oh, here, if you import rice, you do it at your risk.
They don't touch it.
They don't like it. And I said, that's
they like their local rice.
I'm telling you. And our local rice is good. It's healthy. When we talk, I'm not going to run down anybody's food item. That's not what I'm doing. But sometimes we don't ask questions. When we say, oh, this one is polished, with what?
The special polish.
Polished with what? Polished rice from Thailand. Polished rice from India. Are you hearing it?
And okay, if it's the polished rice we want, what are they using to polish things that we are not using? So what is it? And first of all, let's err on the side of health. Is it healthy? That's fundamental. Then we can go into other areas. So yes, rice. I remember, when I hadn't had any experience of traveling outside Ghana as a child, I used to think that, our food was boring. Yeah, food is boring and so on. Then you go outside and you realize that, all they have is wheat and potatoes. And so we have cocoyam and yam of different kinds and cassava of different kinds. So you begin to think again. Ask yourself, so if they have only these two items and they use them so well, what is preventing us from using the many ones that we have and not even promoting them as well?
Isn't that all part of the resetting we should be going through?
I think
that eventually we don't even import rice?
No, as for importing food we can grow, we should stop it.
Wait a minute. As for importing foods we can grow, we should stop it. Have you heard that? Esia. What? Onulo? All my languages are coming back. Esia. Say Esia. Onulo? Onu. What? As for importing foods we can grow, we should stop it. And that is part of the reset agenda. Let's go on.
Shouldn't even be debating it. So
we shouldn't even be debating it.
Otherwise,
we shouldn't even be debating it at all. We should stop it. Ghana.
Where are you going to get the jobs from? If you are importing things, the job is already elsewhere.
Yeah.
Okay? So when it gets there, how many people are just going to offload them from the ship and distribute? How many people? But if people are to farm them, to harvest them, to process them, and then to distribute, then you'll be creating more jobs.
Yeah.
That way.
Yeah.
Than giving the job. Because we should stop, watching our children go and drown in the Mediterranean.
I hear you.
Yeah. To look for things, they don't even know where they are going. But desperation is moving them out.
Anywhere is better.
No, we should reverse that.
Yeah.
Should reverse that.
Yeah. And I'm glad you have mentioned that because that's a really active part of getting people to reset their brain,
No,
but then when you come to the reality, just one second, it's the fact that they have to go because they're not feeling fulfilled in Ghana.
So they think that even if they go, I know people who have finished medical school, who are in the US, and before they can start practicing as doctors, they have to go and do maybe wash dishes in restaurants before gradually they can get into the, you know. So I'm saying that's the real situation down there. We don't have it now. In that sense of not having it now, what's your advice? What do they do?
You see, I don't think that it's a moral issue. It's not a moral issue. So it's not a question of preaching at people. It's about providing opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
It's about the opportunity, because if you can train as whatever profession and then he has to go somewhere else and do all these jobs that you never do here, then there's a problem.
Yeah.
Okay? So he has put all his hopes in a system he doesn't even know yet. And as we are saying, it's desperation making this person make this decision. When he goes there and meets his counterparts in the same profession, and he realizes that they went to school on loans that they have to pay back. And maybe that is why they are getting the remunerations they are. It sets you thinking. But you see, it's all about about creating the opportunities. I was telling my children that when we were growing up, our older brothers and sisters, they used to have vacation jobs because the jobs were here. And at that time, I'm not sure of people who would have left to go and drown somewhere or to be beaten by people because they are desperate. So something has gone wrong. And it is that thing we need to identify.
What do you think has gone wrong?
I think lack of planning. Lack of planning. Lack of planning ahead. Of not seeing the 30-year plan now. You know you have a high birth rate. Ours is it 2.2 or thereabouts. So you should know, as you sit here now, if this birth rate is constant, how many schools will need in 30 years?
To accommodate.
What are you doing about that?
Yeah.
Yes. And how many teachers and how many this and that? And what economy will support that? Not just how many people, how are you going to pay them? And you need to ask those questions now.
Yeah. And I agree with you 100%. The lack of planning.
Yeah.
So
it's all of us. I'm
Yeah.
guilty. I don't know about you, but I'm guilty.
I'm guilty too.
So we are all learning from our mistakes.
Yeah.
You see,
so as we are learning from our mistakes, and we know today that let's say we have a 30-year agenda, but what about what happened in 30 years should happen today? And the fact that it is not happening, what do we do about the fact that it's not happening?
No.
Do we just make it happen?
You see, first we must recognize that in 30 years, we should have gotten to this position. So you can get people to come and say, oh, you need so many billions of dollars to get there. That's good. How are you going to generate that money? It should be part of that 6-month plan. Working toward, oh yes.
Working towards.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
It's not just enough to say that, oh, by this time we should have this number of houses and so on. What type of houses? Built with what? Where? Okay? Should you still be building estate houses like we used to do when we were children? Or the same place, given the fact that your land will not expand, that the sky is the limit? You saw why we did the E blocks and did 4 floors. The only reason why I agreed to the 4 floors was that we're having such serious challenges with energy. You should have done about 7 floors. It's all about planning for those of us who are here now. So it's for those here to come. And you have all this data. The data should tell you something. So I'd rather build a school that has empty classrooms than one that is filled immediately. If it's filled today, you've already lost. And we have similar experiences when we were commissioning some of the schools. Same day it was filled. Oh my goodness. And do we think the population is not going to increase? If it's going to increase even by 2.5, that's a number of people.
Yeah.
Where will they be next year?
Unfortunately, it's not factored into the planning.
And that was even when we were doing 4 floors. So if we're still doing this 9-unit classroom and that sort of thing.
So tell us what is being done now in terms of the planning. You started earlier by even talking about the floods that
in terms of the planning, remember we did the 40-year plan. And I used to be so excited about that exercise, and that's how I got in touch with the late Professor Kwesi. And I used to engage him. What exactly are you doing? What is happening? And I was so excited about it because you need that to move forward. And again, things come, things go. You finish that arduous work. Somebody comes and puts it aside and say, "No, I'm now doing another." It's just so confusing, and it doesn't help us. So that is why I feel that an outstanding referendum should be on a 10-year plan. On something we should agree on. And every party going and coming must stick to that plan.
Must stick to the plan.
Oh, yes. Yes, you must stick to the plan. Maybe you can tell us what strategies you have
to fit into
to
this
realize that plan.
Because everybody comes with a different strategy, they abandon it, and then...
that's a problem. So it's something that I feel very strongly we need to consider as a country. And in the process, and